Skating for Evelyn. It's day one of EV42 Memorial Tournament honoring a Reedsburg hockey player who was hit and killed boarding a school bus in May. NBC 15's Marcus Arsvold spoke to her teammates who are still missing their friend.
13-year-old Evelyn Gurney died unexpectedly in May, but her legacy is living on through her friends, family, and the sport she loved. Reedsburg, Wisconsin Dells Youth Hockey hosted the first ever EV42 Memorial Tournament for her today. Gurney's friends, Kate Brandt and Tegan Geffert, skated together, remembering their talented friend and her passion for hockey.
I was really just thinking about her, what she would do, and how much we want to win this for her, and just the way how she always wanted to succeed in everything.
I've been covering this story since Gurney died. Tomorrow night, only on NBC 15 News, Gurney's parents speak with me about losing their daughter and how they're feeling 5 months later. In the studio, Marcus Arsvold, NBC 15 News.